Hello and welcome to the Travel Agency Near podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Kay, and we are on day 78. We're in the series of fears. Womp womp. So I really do appreciate you coming and listening every day to all the listeners that do so. And if you're brand new, you can go back to the beginning if you want, or just start here. I don't care. It's fine. It's all fine. So today is going to be addressing the fear of the unknown. And you're like, what do you mean the unknown? Well, did you just do something illegal accidentally? Did you forget to file your taxes or like whatever, your quarterly taxes? Um, were you not aware of certain registrations you need to keep your business compliant? This happens to a lot of small business owners at some point. I remember back when I had, by the way, if you don't know who I am a travel agency owner, and I've had a couple of other businesses in the past that I've like sold, and I just keep kind of build stuff and sell it and just kind of do my thing. Anyway, but I remember back when I started a cleaning business, I didn't know you were supposed to be licensed with the city to do business. And I was like, oh, whoopsie. It was not a big deal. It was like a $10 filing. And then every year after that, it was like based on whatever your gross revenues were. And I was like, oh, not a big deal. These things happen all the time. Now, what I see is people spend, I'm not saying jump in completely blind to be like, screw it, we're going to just do whatever and hope we don't go to jail. I do see people use this, I need to make certain everything's perfect before I go put myself out there, kind of as an excuse to not get started, because then something else always comes up. Well, now this new bill was passed and now I got to do this and now there's this and oh, this needs to be totally compliant, which yes, it does. Don't get me wrong. Or this law has changed. Yeah, you do need to have all those things and like updated and like have the upkeep. And I see people who like make goose egg for sales being like, well, I need to triple check the driver's license requirements for someone to rent a car in Europe. As an example, a US person renting a car in Europe. And it's like, that's something you research once, like you can have a basic understanding of it. You don't have to waste 2 entire business days psychotically and anxiously going over all of the procedures and processes to make sure you know everything. I'm not meaning psychotically in a bad way. I'm just saying like people ruminate over making sure they've got every angle covered. You're never going to have every angle covered. You do the best you can to mitigate. And I'm not saying like anything that's going to cause a lawsuit or any this is why errors and omissions insurance exists, by the way. On the off chance that you're like, oh yeah, to my knowledge it's da 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 to a client, this is why you have errors and omissions insurance. Sitting there when you have E&O doesn't make any sense for you to be like, I have to be 1 billion% sure that everything is up to snuff before I even start marketing, because then you're never going to get anything done. It's just going to lead to stagnation and constant research. And you're going to have all this knowledge, but no one's going to even know that you are capable of doing whatever it is. I'm not saying, again, full disclosure, I'm not saying go in blind, go break a bunch of laws and be a complete sociopath and have no regard for anything. I'm saying I see a lot of people like, I'm considering niching into Iceland, and then they decide to read the entire constitution and every law in Iceland so that they know all the laws in Iceland. That's an exaggeration, but not really. And I'm like, you don't need to know everything about Iceland. Or like they want to niche in a specific resort brand and they're like, I have to know everything about every property and or something like that. And it's like you don't have to know everything about every property. You can take the general training and have a good idea, and you can always go back and study further when you actually get people who want a specific property in that resort brand, right? Or they have to know the deck plans of every single ship on a cruise line they're interested in selling. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's what I mean. They feel like they have to have all of the knowledge instead of just some like knowledge on things. So, and this can stem to other like branch out into like, oh, I didn't realize I was supposed to have this filing on a business level. So I recommend if you're newbie, if you're totally new, or if you've been doing this for a while and you're like, what do you mean I should have a separate checking account for my commissions from my personal checking? Consult with a business attorney, not just a travel attorney, but a business attorney in your area and or CPA. And you should have I've got CPA, business attorney, and then travel attorney I can consult as needed for the different parts of my business, because travel attorney may not be able to advise on my local business laws, but my local business attorney can advise on that and give me some recommendations with regards to my finances, but not as well as a CPA. Um, so they're all just like little parts of my team. And you also may want to consider having your business attorney be your registered agent when you come to the time to file your LLC. That's going to help alleviate a lot of the fears of the unknown, because the three of those combined, if you have a good business attorney, good CPA, a good travel attorney to help with like your terms and conditions, you're going to be essentially unstoppable. Like you'll be very well, not unstoppable, but you will be very well protected. They're going to look out for you because guess what? They all have a fiduciary duty to you. All right. Another thing, just do it scared. You cannot predict every scenario. You cannot, you can't have a crystal ball to tell you what's going to happen. The right team, like I said, can help you. But like the IRS isn't going to throw you in jail if you mess up on your taxes. You might have penalties, whatever. Like, but if it's a one-time, first-time thing, they often waive them. It's not the end of the world. Not every client's going to sue you or do chargebacks. It can happen. So why don't you have the right team helping you to make sure that if that scenario comes up, you are protected to the best of your ability. The economy consistently cycles too. And what people put their value on cycles as well. That's also the unknown. We don't know if we're ever going to be going to war, or when we're going to be going to war, or if there's a major economic downturn. Nobody had any idea about like COVID back in 2020. And that, I think, honestly, the whole 2020 nightmare has really scared a lot of people of making sure everything is perfect, 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 because they're afraid, what if I even book this and then something happens and I don't get any earnings from it? So if there's something that you, like I've said in past episodes, all the fears are the fears of what we don't know. And the fear of the unknown is like every possible scenario. Get the right team to help you from a legal and tax financial standpoint. That should be your first investments you should be making in your business. You should do it scared. If someone comes to you and says, I want to sail around the world or do like one of those around the world cruises, if it's something that you're passionate about, even just a little bit, don't be afraid. Like if you're a cruise niche person, why would you turn that down? Don't be afraid to be like, hey, man, this is great. I want to do one of these someday. Lucky you, you can afford it. Let's go on this journey together. I've never booked this before, but I'll do my best to serve you. It's fine. You need to be focusing on your niche, your mission statement for your business, and how your niche is being affected worldwide. If there is an economic downturn, are people more likely going to be booking trips to your destination to escape? Or are they going to be pulling back on spending on that niche to conserve funds? Like, think about those things. But, like, if there's a drought in Africa or something going on in Africa, it's not going to affect all the people that want to go to the Caribbean. I'm going to tie this back to this book called The Four Agreements. It just came into my brain. The four agreements are: be impeccable with your word. So everything that you say, you do your best to stick to your word and be a person of your word. Don't take anything personally. I think the four agreements can honestly really help with a lot of these fears, because most of us are not thinking about everyone else. We're thinking about ourselves most of the time, right? So you're in your own head and you might be like, "Oh, I don't know enough about this niche. I can't sell it." I'm worried about the economy because we're in a mild downturn or something, and the Dow dropped 20,000 points or something crazy. So I better pull back from selling. That's an excuse to not keep doing what you're doing. Um, what else is there? Always do your best. So even if you don't know what you're doing, always do your best and be impeccable with your word. Always communicate. Excuse me. I can't remember the fourth agreement. Always communicate like, "Hey, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm going to do my best for you." I have these on my refrigerator. You'd think I'd know. Okay, I'm not going to buy the book, people. I'm just trying to Google it real quick. Beep, bop, ba. Here we go. Don't make assumptions. There we go. We all know what assuming does. It makes an ass out of you and me. Um, so just don't assume that they're not going to want to work with you because you don't know. Okay. So that is that episode. Fear of the unknown. Whoosh. This one I see a lot too. Like all of these fears in this series, I have heard people, they don't exactly outright say, "I have a fear of the unknown." But when I'm like coaching people in the success circle, I'm like, "Oh, there's your fear." I don't tell them that, but I'm just like, "Hey, you could do this instead." All right. I hope this episode helped you. If it did, please subscribe if you haven't already. Share this with somebody who has a fear of the unknown, and everything's going to be fine. Okay. Have a great day.